Hello there, everybody. I am here because I want to do a thing where I literally just kind of walk around and kind of give my thoughts on move that bit, and I just give my thoughts on the recent Blizzard announcements. But I'm lazy and I don't feel like editing the whole thing, so I'm literally just gonna be walking around WoW for a bit. And yeah, we're just gonna talk. That's all we're gonna do. We're gonna talk. I'm gonna give my thoughts, and that's gonna be it. Here, I'll even Alt Z here so we can get some atmosphere going. I'm just gonna like run to Silithus to like as far north as I can, and wherever we end up, we end up. So, this is not scripted in any way, shape, or form. This is I don't have like bullet points or anything. I'm literally just gonna talk for God knows how long about my thoughts about the recent Blizzard announcements. So, to start off with, let's talk about Kata. So, Kata Classic has been announced. Obviously, a bit more weird compared to the other previous Classic announcements, because it's like Kata. It's kind of the reason a lot of people want a Classic in the first place. You know, it revamped the old world and stuff. So personally, I think doing Classic is a no-brainer. I think you might as well do it. There's no reason not to. And I think it's only sensible to go to at least MOP. Obviously, the weird one is when you get to WoD and do WoD Classic, because WoD, of course, is when the game had a lot of problems. But then, of course, right after WoD, I believe, is Legion, and a lot of people would probably want Legion Classic, so it's weird. But I'm going to try not to go off the rails too much. So talk to me about specific Kata. I do plan, I think depending on how many people I know that are playing Kata, like, if I have a group of at least 4 to 5 people, or 6 or whatever, like, and they're going to also play Kata, then yeah, I'm probably going to play it as well. Oh, is the view distance really this bad? In all WoW? Oh well. Yeah, so if I have enough people that are playing Kata, I'm probably going to play it as well. And the main reason is, like, even though Kata, you have to keep in mind, that's when I quit the game for a decade. So it doesn't I don't exactly have good memories with Cataclysm, you know? Quite the opposite. However, I never got to do Firelands. Everyone says Firelands is a good raid, and I never really got to properly experience. I never got to do Heroic on any of the first 3 raids, and I don't really remember anything about them. You know, because that's back when then they had 3 like more mini raids instead. I'd mostly be there for Firelands though, and I'd be curious to see how they handle the dungeon difficulty and stuff. So yeah, I think I might play it because my outlook on the game is just different now. And here's the thing, if I want to like enjoy leveling and experience the joys of the old world and stuff, we have hardcore now. Like hardcore is perfect for that. So someone's asking what I'm doing. Can you believe it? Look at this guy. Nerve rip this guy. You can tell how unscripted this is because I am just struggling to maintain my thoughts. But I think a lot of people... So yeah, I think you could play hardcore WoW if you want to like experience the leveling and the joys of the old world. At this point, I think they should just keep going with Classic. Because... And the viewpoint I don't understand is the people who want them to like keep some Wrath servers around, which, like, yeah, Wrath is great, but I don't really understand why you want, like, do you plan to just raid ICC till the end of time? Like, don't get me wrong, ICC is great, and I have absolutely loved Wrath in so many ways. I have so many fond memories attached to Wrath. I love it, but why would anyone just want to stay on Wrath forever? You have no difficulty dungeons, and you're only going to be doing ICC realistically. Like, World of Warcraft as a video game is not structured in a way where it makes sense to just keep it in one state for so long. It just doesn't work like that with the way the game functions. So yeah, I think the viewpoint of people wanting to keep some Wrath servers around is just silly. Like, rate progression is so fast at this point, you're literally only going to do Nice Crown Citadel. I don't get it. I don't personally get it. Why anyone would want that. Because again, if the old world is the reason you don't want to change, you have hardcore now. Because let's be honest, not many people are saying like, I'm gonna miss like, well, no, you won't even lose BC and Wrath Living. Those stuff that will still be there. So I don't know. At this point, I just think I play Kata Classic for the raids and the dungeons, and the same goes if they do Pandaria. I never got to experience properly, so that's a different story. But Kata specifically, like that, I would just be playing for the raids, the dungeons. That's about it. I mean, that's all I'm doing in Wrath right now, is I'm just showing up on our one raid night to do Ice Crown Citadel, and that's it. And I think that's what a lot of people are doing, unless you're like an altaholic. Which is fine. I mean, again, but I don't think there's a lot of people that are constantly still leveling characters in Wrath. Like, I think that's a very small subset. That was me over a decade ago in original Wrath, but I feel like there's very few people that are doing that nowadays. Plus, you have things like the cancer that is GA KPs and how pugging raids works in Classic, which I just absolutely hate. The community has made Classic so much worse than it could have been, but that's to be expected. It is the WoW community after all. So yeah, I think that's all my thoughts about Kata. I think they are going to be changing some things. Again, they're going to supposedly add in a dungeon difficulty system, which sounds cool. I think the one thing that I would really want is for them to... That's funny, I have a quest there. I think the one thing I'd really want is for them to alter the end of Dragon Soul. So... there's either the last boss is either different, or they make it so the last... Oh, speaking of which, there's 2 people leveling, so... Look at that. I'd want them to add another, like, just a proper... Whoops. A proper final boss that's just Deathwind in his dragon form. Like, obviously, we can't expect them to make a bunch of new content for Kata. Like, that just doesn't make sense. But just adding, like, one new, like, actual Deathwing boss. Like, he dies and then he puts you in, like, this... He's like, I will not go down this easily, and it's kind of like the last boss of Siege of Orgrimmar, Garrosh, where he summons you in, like, a vision where he's all corrupted and crazy. Something like that, where Deathwing, like, summons you, like, puts you in this vision where he's in his dragon form, you find him as an actual dragon. Let's be honest, that would get people hyped, extremely hyped, and would be extremely out of left field, especially if they didn't announce it beforehand and it just happened, like the world first kills it and then like suddenly they have this new fight that's like insane. That would get people like insanely hyped, I think. That would be awesome. But obviously it would take dev time, which they obviously aren't putting a whole lot of dev time towards Kata Classic. Most of that's going towards retail. So anyways, I don't want this video to be an hour long. It's pretty much everything I have to say on Kata. I'm not overly negative about it. I will probably play it as like a Feral Druid or something if they announce it. And I hope I have some friends that can play it too, because then again, I can experience the raids. I like raiding. That's the reason I play this game at this point, is raiding and dungeons. And then I'll play hardcore if I want to have nostalgia and experience the lovely old world. Back when things were better in that regard. So, that's the end of that. Moving on. Season of Discovery. The whole new Classic ordeal. I'll be honest, I was a negative Nancy. Not in the announcement itself. I was a negative Nancy in the fact that I didn't think it was going to happen. I straight up thought, like, they're not going to do a Classic Plus. Let's be honest, this is basically Classic Plus. Supposedly, there's some people out there complaining about it. People will always complain. People are stupid. It's not what I expected. Like, we're getting like new abilities. They're making like a mage healer, warlock tank. We have like a Black Fathom Deeps mini right at level 25. I think this is a very cool way to like test the waters, and I'm definitely going to try it out. Even if I don't have people to play it with, which I might, I don't know. But they're actually doing it. They're actually, you know, they're actually altering the world. or not altering the world, but you know, they're actually adding stuff to Classic. It's the first time they're actually changing it. That's what Classic Plus, what people want on Classic Plus. So, yeah, I think that's cool. Let's go. We're gonna go to Barons. Not really a whole lot to say off of it right now, except I think it's cool, and I'm definitely gonna try it out. And I think it's impressive that they announced this along with all the other things. So, surprisingly, I have a lot less to say about it than Caddick Plus, but mostly, it's just I'm positive about it. I think it looks cool. It's a direction I was not expecting. I wasn't expecting them to really go through with something like this at all. So, good stuff. 1,000 Needles making me orange as standard. So yeah, curious to see how it'll play. Now, finally, the big one, the retail expansion, or rather, the 3 retail expansions, which is wild. So it seems like they're definitely going with shorter expansions after all. I don't know if we're gonna stay with the theme of 3 raids per expansion, or if these coming expansions are gonna be even smaller and have only 2. I would really hope not. I think 3 is a decent enough sweet spot. Having only 2 would feel really bad. Only like 2 major patches, and it wouldn't be a lot of time to really, you know, alter systems and bounce systems like whatever delves are gonna be and whatnot. So yeah. Brain fart. Yeah. Hopefully it's 3 raids. Hopefully it's like basically same amount of content as Dragonflight. Obviously it sucks that expansions are gonna be like a little less content, but they're still gonna have the same price point. That obviously kind of blows, and you have to pay for the beta and stuff. Not great. Stuff like delves and hero talents, more so delves. They supposedly have learned from stuff like Torghast and Island Expeditions. We'll see. I think a randomized sort of dungeon adventure type thing that could be done either solo or with people has a lot of potential. Something like Torghast. A system like that in WoW has a ton of potential. I just still think they haven't nailed it. I think Torghast got close in some aspects, actually. But then it just kind of failed with the fact that it was mandatory, and yeah, I mean, it had a bunch of problems. So, Delves have potential, but so did Torghast. You know, we'll see. New zones look pretty good. Honestly, one of the biggest pluses about the new expansion for me is we're getting a full-on Nerubian zone, and the first raid is Nerubian themed. I've always loved the Nerubians' like art style and architecture. Their aesthetic. There's these, you know, ugly spider dudes with this I just really love the way their like buildings are designed and stuff, and how the first raid, we're gonna have a full-on Nerubian themed raid. I think that sounds awesome. Obviously, whether they're mechanically, we don't know, but God, I'm so damn orange, dude. Can I like? I know it doesn't matter, but I feel like this will help like a little bit. I'm still pretty orange. Who cares? So yeah, I think that's really cool. I don't know, the raid showcase, they're doing like a mini raid showcase that might actually be like today, now that I think about it. So for all I know, there's gonna be more. I'm recording this on November 5th, little afternoon, so it might be going on now, or it might have just happened. I don't know. I think that's cool. The other zones look fine enough. A couple of them look kind of generic, but you know, there's been a lot of expansions. You can only do so much with new zones at this point. But I do think having another like just island tropical zone, it's kind of meh. But you know, it's fine. New ally raises Earthen. Who cares? It's just another dwarf. Give me Tuskar, Sethrak. That's literally the only 2 races I want. That are like Arakoa. I really don't know why they won't give us more cool races. That's another thing I want to say about Nerubians. Part of the reason I like Nerubians so much because I like the more like ugly, like actual monstrous creatures of WoW. And it feels like with stuff like Dragonflight, it's gone way more like, you know, Disney and safe and boring. And you know, the game's called World of Warcraft. And it's like, again, I don't want to go on a tirade about how much I hate the new writing and direction in some aspects, but whatever, it's fine. That's not what we're talking about. Hero talents entirely depends on the balance of them, but the concept is pretty cool. It'll be more ways to customize it. I'm personally someone who actually likes the Dragonflight talent tree system. even if it really varies class to class how good your talent trees are. There are some that are absolutely god-awful, like Destruction Warlock. And then there are some talent trees that are really good, like Enhancement Shaman. So it really depends on the class, but the concept and core design of the Dragonflight talent trees is obviously way better than what we have in like Kata. And I do think it's better than what we have in Classic, because as much the Classic talent trees are amazing and all, but talents like this, come on. People who try to defend the old talent trees when you have talents that are literally just increasing your intellect. And that's why part of the reason I hate the Warlock to class tree in retail so much, because it is a bunch of actual talents like this. Like, the retail talent tree shouldn't be like this. That's part of the reason the retail talent trees should be cooler, is because they're have more unique. Anyways, going on tirades again. Hero towns could be cool. Delves could be cool. Depends. And I think I guess the new cinematic, Anduin glow up was kind of cool. I would be pretty messed up too if I had to do Shadowland stuff. So props to Anduin. You can do it, man. I believe in you. Thrall's back, yippee. Chris Messon's back, yippee. Again, the thing I'm the most negative and skeptical about is the writing and story. I don't know how much control Metzen has, or what the writing team consists of, if it's changed at all for Dragonflight, or their philosophy or whatever. That's the one thing I will stay negative on until I'm proved wrong. I don't have any trust that the writing's going to improve. But we'll see. We'll see. And yeah, I was expecting to ramble on for like an hour. But that might actually be all I really have to say. It was really, I just really just wanted to like talk about Ram WoW stuff for a bit. Just kind of into an echo box. Echo box? That's not a word. Echo chamber. Was there anything else they announced that... I mean, there's warbands, which... Warbands were, like, fine. There's a lot of quality of life stuff there that are changing. They're making the game way more alt-friendly with how you unlock stuff like transmogs and whatnot. How warbands, you can bring, like, your alts to these, like, adventures or whatever. That's cool. So, yeah. Fan of that. I mean, those are things that pretty much have no reason to be negative, so... probably just gonna be an outright good thing, I would say. You know, that's fine. Yeah, I think that was everything with retail. I mean, we have the new actual retail patch, but this is more things I want to talk about, things that are actually were actually announced at BlizzCon. I feel like was there anything else? I talked about Kata, Season of Discovery, and the new retail expansions. Yeah, I think that's everything. Yeah, I just kind of... I was expecting to have more to talk about, but... you know? Yeah, I think that's everything. I kind of wanted to end this video, like, in Ashenvale, though, because I like Ashenvale, and I want an excuse to go there, so I'm kind of, like, trying to fill dead air until I can get there. So I'm trying to think of, like, one more talking point to, like, discuss with myself, but I'm struggling to find anything else, because really we only have some general ideas. I guess, like, the hero towns have names to them, which are kind of cool. Like, Death Knight has one called Rider the Apocalypse, which is just metal AF. Like, meanwhile, you have Warlock, which has Hellcaller, and, like, Soul Harvester, which, you know, they sound cool, but it's literally just names, so there's not really a lot to go off of there. My one main concern is, like, they're already struggling to balance the new talent trees as is and rework the talent trees as is. We still have a lot of classes that have, like, absolutely awful talent trees, like Warlock, and I know Monks is awful. From what I heard, I think Warriors isn't that good. So the fact that they're gonna have to, like, try to balance hero talents, the combination of those hero talents with the class talents, like the fact that they're gonna have to balance both those together, a bit concerning. I am very skeptical, because now they're gonna have 3 more talent trees, like mini talent trees per class, combined with the fact that there's already the new town trees from Dragonflight that still need to be fixed again. I don't know. I'm concerned about it's going to bring even more balance problems, but it has potential to be great. It's raining in Ashenvale. It's raining in Ashenvale, yes. I'm so glad I went here. Ashenvale's like my favorite zone ever. This is literally just good. The last minute of this video is just going to be turned into me like running around Ashenvale. So yeah, hero towns could be cool. And again, I know I've already talked on this. You know, I talked about people like not leveling, but like I've seen a few people leveling, so. But again, like with Kata, like I just don't know if it makes sense to like. It doesn't make sense not to go to Kata, is the thing. Like you have a lot of people talking about like how they're not really hugely interested in Kata, and obviously that makes sense. But as someone who's just playing the game for the raiding and stuff, like, hey, I get to experience those raids again. Everyone says Firelands is a great raid. I never got to do Firelands. So, you know, I'm personally will maybe play it. Unless like none of my friends and no one I know is going to play it, then I'm not going to play it. Season Discovery, I'm almost certainly going to at least try. Hardcore, I think one thing that they should really do with Hardcore is just something to bring it like variety without changing the core experience too much. I think one thing that like I think Krendor brought up was a system where some kind of system where like mobs got like random modifiers or something. I think that'd be really cool because so this is like kind of weird. Like the rain's like only in one direction. Okay, now it's like yeah, rain in Ashenvale's like bugged or something. I just realized like if I look this way, unless it's actually taking like the canopies into account, but I doubt it. So yeah, Kata depends on people play with. Season Discovery probably will. New retail expansions. I will definitely probably try a new retail expansion. You have to keep in mind, Dragonflight's the first retail expansion that I've actually hello my good man. Retail is actually the first, or Dragonflight's actually the first retail expansion that I'm gonna play the full way through. So that says a lot considering I took a decade break and quit very early in Shadowlands, which I think most people did. So yeah. Anyways, yeah, I think I've run out of ways to extend this video. I've kind of just been blabbering on about and repeating things at this point. I mostly just wanted to have an excuse to just kind of chill in Ashenvale for a bit. Hopefully I can make my hardcore character to Ashenvale, which I have been playing hardcore. I've been streaming it like at random times in the evening. I should probably do it more often, but you know, yeah. Ashenvale is still my... You know, I really should level an Alliance character because Alliance have more unique quests to do here. And Ashenvale is my favorite zone ever, and a lot of Horde doesn't really have a lot of really cool quests in Ashenvale. A lot of it's in Zormstrand, which is the area of Ashenvale I find the least aesthetically pleasing. Like I love all this area. It's just such a good zone. Top 5 favorite zones to end the video off: Ashenvale, Fairless, Ungor Crater, Stranglethorn Vale, and Winterspring. Yes, there's a theme. Most of those are jungle, like heavy forest jungle zones. But yeah, and then Winterspring, like how can you not love Winterspring? It's just such a lovely, it's the best winter zone. It's always been the best winter zone. Alright, I'm literally just talking about RAM crap now. Have a good one. I'll see you later. If you watched all the way through or just had this on the background ever, let me know. Are you planning on playing the new expansion? Season Discovery, Kata? Why or why not? I'm genuinely curious to know. Thank you. Where's the stop recording button?